Hey there, YouTube. Want to just take a moment here and talk about a new knife that I got. It saw it online and I had to have it. It's a $200 knife. It's the Shaman, not the Shaman, but the Shaman, S-H-A-M-A-N. Here it is. I got the black version with the coating on the blade. You know, pretty cool. You know, got it, and it's definitely an awesome knife. But there are some shortcomings to this knife that I don't get paid to make videos. I don't get paid by YouTube, and I'm not super highly skilled at this. Sometimes, a lot of times, I think my voice can get annoying. But it's fun to make knife videos and maybe give my input where that can help someone that is looking to purchase a knife instead of spending $200 and returning it or being unhappy with it and selling it to someone else. That's really my purpose. But so here we're going to dive in. I am not a professional knife seller or a person that's been doing this for a long time. I'm someone that's gotten into this in probably the last 3 years, and I've had, you know, maybe 40 knives. I've sold a lot of them that I didn't like, and I've kept some that I do. So with that, we'll move on. So this is the Spyderco Shaman, and what I'm going to compare this to is two of the other knives, which I consider probably my favorite of my knives. So I'm going to move my tripod over and show you my knife stand that I built out of a child's crib that I found in my neighborhood that someone was throwing away. And I was driving down the street and I was like, man, that's nice wood. So I put it in the back of my truck and let it sit in the garage for about 6 months, and I finally came up with the purpose. You know, it was going to be a knife stand, nice, you know, little wood stand that I built. So just showing you that. I'm going to pull out my two favorites that I've had the bench made for probably, you know, a year, maybe a couple of years. I can't remember. Let me move this back over here. Move this down. So this is what I compare a lot of everything to. It's the Benchmade HG 550 sheep's foot Griptilian. This is really my go-to knife, and I'll try to explain for many reasons. You know, the FRN handles are really durable. If I put this in my pocket versus the, you know, $200 knife here or the $200 knife here, I put this in my pocket and I got change, car keys, something in there. I love this knife, but I'm not petrified that I'm going to tear it up and scratch it and blemish it and while it's in my pocket. It's really durable. This FRN does not show scratches and wear like the carbon fiber or the G10 can, you know, if it gets chipped or scratched or dropped. And another really cool feature that I compare all my other knives to is that this one, I mean, it just drops. I mean, it's just so easy. I'm not going to try to do it on camera, but I can't. It just flips. It's a great knife, and one thing that this 154 cm is a great steel, easy to sharpen. It stays sharp. This is so sharp that I just touch it to my skin and it'll shave off my skin. It's ridiculously sharp, and I put that edge on there. But yet again, I am not a professional knife sharpener, but I did a pretty good job on that. It's not mirror shine, but it's sharp. So This is the Griptilian. This is one of my favorite, just for the multi-purpose that it's easy to sharpen, and it doesn't show damage. I'm not scared that I'm gonna scuff it up or scratch it with, you know, with mild use. But here, we're gonna get back to my the shaman here, not the shaman or shaman. What I found with before when I got this, and I didn't know until I held it in my hand, this G10 is really, really smooth. With my hands, I have a hard time getting traction on it. I mean, it's manageable, it's smooth, and that's what's really comfortable about it, is that it's so smooth and it feels really, really good just sitting here holding it. But when this came last week, it was really, really tight. I took the washers out, took it apart immediately, put the washers on an emery board nail, filer with different grits, and I sanded those down very, very lightly and polished them. And I put those back in there and then oiled it. It didn't have any oil on it. And that helped minorly, but I've got to really torque down these screws because there is a little bit of blade play. I mean, I got to tighten them down where they, I'm not forcefully tightening them, but I'm getting them down. So it does not open super easy. I like that. Another the downside of that is that does hit your hand, and when you're flipping it really, really fast, that does come into your finger, and it can sting a little bit. And I would like to file that down, but I'm not going to do that because it's the black nitride coating on there, and I'm going to remove that, and it's going to be silver. I'm just not real keen on doing that, but I would certainly love to file that or grind that edge down flat, and then when it shuts, have that not be sticking up as far. That's a downside, and it is a downside. It hits you no matter what. And I mean, I've done it where I've put my finger here just slightly and tried to remove it, and I mean, and it's not as bad, but having to think about all these things before you shut it is kind of a downside. Another downside is, and I had to move my clip from down here to the tip up carry, tip up. So I have something to hold on to right here. When I grab right here to put my finger right here, the knife is so slippery that if I don't have a good grip on it, it can flip out of my hand and end up on the floor. And another downside of this knife, even though it's really, really cool and I'm not going to get rid of it, I really like this knife, is that when I shut it, I have a grip on it without thinking too much about it, and then I go to flip it shut and it comes down and it catches my finger right there. As you can see, this is number 3. The other ones have healed and it's sliced my finger open. And it's just hard to do. This one will not flip shut really easy. I have to loosen these up quite a bit, and then I'll get that blade play, and I'll get that real little bit of blade play. Right now it's solid. And I guess I need to flip it 1,000 more times, but I'm not just a flipper that sits in my house and flips and flips and flips and shuts and flips and shuts and flips and shuts. So I guess that'll come over time. But yeah, excellent blade. I love the coating. Also too, when I took it all apart, the lower part of the blade is coated. So I've seen videos of the satin finish or the black bead blasted or whatever the finish is on that, where they went in and polished that and polished the ramp, and this one is black, and so it's got a lot more grit and bite to it than I guess polished, the polished S30V would be. So that's another little bit of a downside, is it's just not shutting very smoothly. And I've taken it apart 3 times and made sure and switched the bearings around, the bushings, switched those around to the other side and adjusted the screws and adjusted these, and tightened it with it being up, and then tightening different portions. It centers pretty solid. But yeah, I mean, great knife, but just be aware of those things. This G10 is really smooth, much smoother than I thought, which is cool. I like it. It feels really, really good. It's more like, what's that wood that's real popular on knives, and I'm drawing a blank at the moment, but the hard wood that they put on there that looks really, really cool. This is, I think this is almost comparable to that. But yeah, really cool knife. And then another knife that I got that I can compare it to is the Spyderco. Which one is this one? This is the Bradley 2. I really, really like this knife as well. This is a beast. This is really cool. And you know, I don't have any problem shutting it or you know, open and close it, and it flips pretty good. It does take more force to shut that, but like I said, I'm not a person that sits on the couch watching TV and flips this and closes it, flips it and closes it and flips it and closes. But this is another, you know, close to $200 knife nowadays with Spyderco's increase. And again, I had to move the clip from down here over to here so that I could get a good grip with my fingers. Sorry, get a good grip on my fingers so that I can flip it and then shut it. So that's what's cool about the Benchmade is my fingers are out of the way when I flip that open, and this knife just is just magic. And I didn't have to do anything really to get it like that. This is a really solid knife. I love this blade. So that's why I'm making the video. Someone that's, you know, going to spend 200 bucks on this knife. Like I said, it is a really, really cool knife. I'm really glad to have it in my collection. I don't think I'll ever get rid of it. The ergonomics on it or the feel is just an awesome knife. But that is a downside is when you shut this, you really got to have your fingers out of the way. You got to be holding on with your tips on there, and then you got to really flip that down with some authority. So if your fingers up just a little bit right there or right there on the edge and that blade comes down, it will slice your fingers. But yeah, that's it. That's my review. I've got some other, like I said, some really cool knives to kind of base my experience on. Got a Boker here. I've got a couple of $195 Benchmades. Spyderco Manix 2, Enzo Burke, that is a pretty amazing knife. That is probably the sharpest knife out of this whole collection. And here I've got kind of a knockoff of ZT, but this is an amazing knife for the value. I can't remember the name of it, but I put a mirror edge on that, and this thing is so sharp it shaves. It shaves hair like it just pops it off. And I don't know if you can see that mirror shine right there, but that is a really, really cool knife, and it costs $25. It flips really good. It's a pretty heavy knife. I even put this stuff in the oven and kind of took some of the blue anodizing off and kind of made it a kind of a golden, bluish, reddish, and kind of did that to the pocket clip. You're probably not going to be able to see that in the video, but I did that to the I can't even think what the main screws that hold the blade on. Pretty cool. But yeah, that's it. Keep that in mind when you go to purchase, you know, the Shaman, that you know, that you're aware of those things. But thanks for watching. If you have any questions, just add them below. Thank you. Have a good day.